can cause respiratory failure as well. It is affecting the kidneys, it can cause renal failure. And because of this infection is already there because of virus, it can also come home to the secondary infections also. Secondary bacterial infections can also come. Okay, so this is very, very important aspect of the infections. Secondly, one of the important aspect of immune response you should understand is if the immune system main function is to kill or contain the organism. Okay, I'll give you an example of containing the organism. You heard about tuberculosis. Okay, you can see tubercular ulcers or tuberculoma on the upper surface of the upper lobe of the lungs usually. Okay, there's some small bones, foci or tuberculoma is there. We're surrounded by lymphocytes, monocytes, macrophages, which contain the tubercle bacilli. It doesn't allow it to go out of the lungs. Okay, so if it's not able to kill the TB bacilli, it's not able to kill the TB bacilli because it's got a very strong lipid layer on the cell membrane, which is very difficult to be penetrated or to be killed upon. So you require anti-tubercular drugs to penetrate the cell membrane and make it very weakened so that the immune system can attack it and kill it. Okay, so you can fall. So this, if it is not able to kill the organism, the immune system tries to contain it. Okay, the similarly, patients with immunocompromisation, like people with HIV/AIDS, same TB becomes miliary tuberculosis. It's throughout the lungs. It's not in one part of the lungs. It's throughout the lungs because the immune system is not able to act. So if the immune system is very, very low, the infection can just spread just like it. Like for example, you see kids with the protein energy malnutrition, PEM. Okay, so most of them die because of infectious diseases. Okay, because the immunity is very, very low. It just spreads very, very fast. Okay, the immunity should also be quite good enough to contain it. But if immunity is more, also it's also a problem. The exaggerated high exaggerated response of the immune system can cause cytokine storm. Okay, in SARS and CoV2. And this can even cause the death of the patient as well. So it has to be something which is balanced. We call them as immune homeostasis. There is a check between inflammation and immune suppression. Okay, so it should be balanced enough so that the immune inflammation doesn't go on prolonged to such an extent that it causes severe damage to tissues and organs and causes the death of a patient. So there is what is called immune homeostasis. How do you modulate immunity? That's the right word to use rather than say how do you improve immunity. So what are the factors that influence immunity against viruses? We know physical fitness is very important. Comorbid conditions, your hypertension, diabetes can reduce your ability to fight the infections. Aging, if you're elderly population, can succumb to infection because the T cell response is lower in aged population compared to that of the youth populations. Nutritional status is very important. I told you sleep is a very, very important factor for fighting infections. Okay, if you don't have proper sleep, your T cell responses, the B cell responses are curtailed. Stress is a very, very important aspect because stress can release a lot of stress hormones like cortisol, which can numb the immune response. And immunocompromised conditions, as I said to you, is also very, very important. So we have stress from outside. So what's important here is you already have a psychological stress because of the COVID infection. Your isolation is you're being isolated. People are having isolation anxiety. They don't have sleep. Okay, they also have some symptoms. They have nobody to take care of them, and that can cause a lot of apprehension, a lot of fear. And that can have a devastating problem for these patients. So if we can help them to cope with it properly, reduce tension, reduce anxiety, make them relax completely by using yoga techniques or whatever it is, that can be very, very useful in this population. Secondly, people with obesity. Okay, so obese people have more of adipocytokines, which can trigger inflammation, suppress the application of T and B cells. Okay, and though they're obese, they produce more of leptin, but the immune cells fail to respond to this leptin. Okay, there's what is called immunological energy. We call them as immunological energy means the immune system is no longer able to respond to the leptin molecule. In normal conditions, leptin molecule would have enhanced the immune response, but in these obese patients, it no longer enhances the immune response. Okay, and as I said to you, the malnutrition is again one more important cause, and this is very important for us to understand that over the years we have a lot of microbes which are invading us and causing a lot of diseases. And we have been seeing a different bunch of viral diseases, right from HIV, Hendra, dengue, and you have SARS and avian flu, and now you have SARS-CoV-2, and that's because of our man's contact with the animal world. Okay, because of increased domestication of species and increased reliance on animal meat and being in close contact with animals, the viruses which are there, the zoonotic viruses which are there, are also transfecting into humans as well. And that is what is causing all these problems today. Very important. That's why we say that we stay away from animal meat, and we also try to adopt veganism. Okay, so as I said to you, I told you about the first line of defense, the surface immunity. The second line of defense was your neutrophils, the innate immunity, and the third line of defense was the adaptive immunity. So here, this is what I said. Even in the nasal tract, you can see the virus is entering inside. You have the macrophages there. You have the complement system there. You have T cells, NK cells. All these things are present in the nasal mucosal lining, which can really mount an immune response. This is the immediate response which happens. Okay. So in pneumonia, what happens, especially in SARS-CoV-2? So you have the alveoli in the periphery of the lungs. Okay, this is the area where all the gas exchange takes place. And when there is a pneumonia, what happens? There is inflammation of the alveoli. The virus goes there. There's inflammation is there. There's edema, collection of fluid, and there's consolidation of the lungs causing pneumonia. Okay, this is a very, very important aspect. So how does it happen? Is by when there is a edema is because of the leaky blood vessels. Blood vessels become very, very leaky because of the inflammation, because of the inflammatory mediators and the cytokines, and this can cause the problem. So I won't go into deep details, and this is how it is. Have cytokines which are initial response, innate response, adaptive response here, and this is the kind of cytokines which are released here. And what they have found out in SARS-CoV-2 is the IFN gamma, which is a very, very important cytokine, is released as a part of the adaptive T cell response, is very, very low. Okay, in this population, people who have the SARS-CoV-2. So especially they don't know what is the reason why the IFN gamma is there. The cytokine storm is mainly because of the IFN alpha and beta and the TNF family and IL-12 which has been released. Okay, this is what is causing the cytokine storm, and it is initial phases of it. And if it is prolonged for a longer time, then it becomes a problem. So one is again this is one aspect. Second aspect which I want to talk to you is we are fortunate to see the many number of asymptomatic cases in India. Okay, the virulence of this organism in India is behavior of this particular virus in India is entirely different from what is seen in the West. Okay, you're not seeing a cytokine storm here. You're not seeing people just collapsing on the roads. Okay, you're not seeing you're not seeing 30% of the population being on ventilators here. Okay, only hardly 5% of those critical patients are going on the ventilators, and 80% of them are found to be asymptomatic. So people talk about herd immunity. We don't know whether it's true or not, but there are certain factors which can probably see that we are having this kind of a subdued immune response. Okay, what is important? What you can do in yoga and naturopathy here is to improve mucosal immunity. Neti kriya can be done, pranayama can be done, asanas which increase the tidal volume, the forced expiratory volume, respiratory airway. Okay, reduce the reactivity of the airways and improve the lung function tests. So all these things can be very useful here, and diet which are anti-inflammatory in nature. I'll not talk more about this. I have more speakers who are going to talk more on this. I'll leave it to them, the diet and other things. But I just want to share one important research which is published about fasting. So people talk about using fasting for infections. So what is important to understand here is fasting is very, very good when you have a bacterial infection, because you want to produce a ketoacidosis, you want to produce ketones, which can have a detrimental effect on the bacterial growth as well as on the bacterial toxin. Whereas the same thing for viruses is should not be done. It is very bad for having a fasting for viral infections. So what we talk about for viral infection is mainly to do with good nutrition, more amount of proteins, more of vitamins, and little bit of glucose, which is enough to sustain the immune response against the viruses. So I just want to play a small video about a small research study which has been published by the journal called Cell, a group of researchers from US. So I'd like you to share this video with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I think it was very interesting to see the comprehensive view of what is immune system, how it works, and what are the most relevant points with regard to COVID-19. There are a few questions which have come from the audience, uh, and I would like you to pay attention if you have any specific research or any study which has come to support about herbal medicine, number one, Vastra Dhoti, pranayam. One specific audience asked for the Vastrika pranayam, chest pack or throat pack. Fasting you have already answered. So if we have any evidence on these treatments supporting or improving our immunity.
Okay, let me just go to the first question on herbal medicines.
Yeah.
We do use tulsi, we use ginger, we use neem, we use several things which are there available in the kitchen as a part of our remedies. And nobody can stop this from using this because they're also foods. Food is also a part of the food for us. Okay, so we can use them as far as these herbs are concerned for our own treatment. There should not be a problem. Okay, one is that, and secondly, there are people who are content saying that the herbs are belonging only to Ayurveda, but Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, if you see, all of them more or less use the same kind of herbs for everything. Just call them by different names, but they're all the same. Okay, so there should not be a confusion on this. So anybody can use the herbal medicine. So for example, we may use curcumin from extract of turmeric, whereas they may use turmeric in a full form, a different form altogether. So the way you use the form of using the particular herb varies from system to system.
Curcumin,
So we are using it is what defines us from the other people. One. Second thing is, you're talking about NCSM bill and other things. Let them not discuss about this
turmeric,
because that's not part of this particular webinar. And magnetized effect water on COVID-19, we really don't know about the effects of magnetized water on COVID-19. There's no study done on this. This is a virus which is very, very new, 3 months old, and people are just trying to understand how the behavior of this virus. So we still don't know how does magnetize. People are talking about ozone therapy. People are trying to use hyperbaric oxygen. People are trying to use acupuncture. People are using TCM, traditional medicine. But we still don't have evidence for all these things. But how does pranayama improve immunity? I would like to tell you probably is it helps in reducing the airway reactivity. It helps in preventing flu by improving the mucosal immune defenses. Okay, this is a very, very important aspect of the immunity, improving the mucosal immune defenses. And if your mucosal immune defense is good, then you probably may not contract the disease also. We don't know that. Okay? Vastrika and Ujjayi is...
Dr. Raghavendra, I think there was one important point which was brought in by a panelist in another webinar which I was attending, is that, COVID-19 is a very new condition. So there is no evidence against COVID-19 in any system of medicine or any form of science. So instead of looking for evidence at this moment, what is more important is that whatever you feel is going to work against this virus or any viral condition in general, or any respiratory illnesses in general, or anything which helps boosting or improving your immunity in general, those all principles should be applied in this particular case, because that is the only thing which we can do quickly. If we look for the evidence before we start applying the principles or before we start applying the treatments, then probably it will be too late. So I think that is one way forward for us to understand that, anything which actually helps in the improvement of immunity, or anything which generally works on against the viral conditions, should all be employed as our treatment strategies or in containment of this virus. So there is no copyright of any system of medicine against the treatment of COVID-19. Whatever we are able to do in our possible opportunities, wherever we find an opportunity to deal with these patients, we should be able to do, and we should be doing it in the best possible way we can. Do you support this view?
No doubt, we need to do a lot of work on research on trying to find out what it can be done. When before you do the research, you start using these interventions for population and see how does it pan out. It's very, very important because nobody knows what is happening. But always be cautious. Don't try to err, because if you take this kind of advisory saying that you're improving, you're already doing yoga, the immunity is going to be good and you not get the disease is a wrong concept. So you should always be on the cautious side. Do this as well. Do everything possible to improve immunity. At the same time, be cautious. Maintain the social distancing norms and everything else possible to prevent yourself from contracting this infection.
Thank you, Dr. Raghavendra Rao. I think now the next panelist, we will move on to Dr. B.D. Chidanandamurthy. He is a very renowned person, very senior yoga and naturopathy physician, currently the Chief Medical Officer of Jindal Nature Cure Institute and the former Director of Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, as well as National Institute of Naturopathy. Both these are the apex institutions of Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Now I invite Dr. Murthy to please speak. What is his view on the naturopathy and yoga for COVID-19? Open to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh Singh. You have camera towards me. Thank you, Dr. Raghavendra, who has scientifically explained the immunology and the pathology of the COVID virus. Of course, now nobody claimed that they have done any research for against this COVID. It's a research is a new thing. This COVID itself is a 3 months or 4 months baby, 6 months baby. So it takes years up together for the research thing. With my 44 years of experience, the naturopathy and yoga is nothing but we call it mind-body medicine, holism, holistic approach. We have to improve the mental health, the physical health, immunity, and the even gut health. Digestive system has to be perfect. The proper nutrition, absorption, all things have to be taken care. So in this COVID aspect is mainly, as we are well known told, is major thing is maintain social distance, continuously wash, hourly wash up the total the hand wash, and also protect yourself and protect others by wearing mask. That is there. Apart from that one, as per the immunology is concerned, is what I have made some study there. The continuous sipping of hot water drinking for 48 hours in the initial first 2 days, it is found to be because it can kill the virus, because it increases the temperature. If you go on drinking and continuously drinking hot water, it will body temperature rises, the sweating also causes. So with this aspect, it can control or reduce the replication of viruses. So first thing is to, for first 2 days, 48 hours, continuous sipping of hot water drinking. That is essential. Rest thing is we have to drink sufficient water, 3 to 4 liters of water. The moment you get up in the morning, we say generally, Prabhate Uttistate Ushapanam, drinking of about up to 1 liter of hot water drinking, especially in this coronavirus, we advocate hot water rather than the normal or tepid water drinking. So to boost the immunity, we always advocate in naturopathy for vitamin C products, that lemon, amla, orange, lemon, honey water, etc., natural glucose, that is also there. And iron-rich food is apple, black raisins, black dates, amrud, guava fruits, and even ragi porridge. It's also rich in iron. It can be taken all over India. So these are available also, easily available, that thing. And third thing is zinc rich is also required for the boosting immunity. That is papaya seeds and watermelon seeds are found to be very useful, and the seeds only, they are not costly also. That should be used. And also the amino acids, which are well present in multigrain sprouts, can be taken ample. Apart from that one, omega-3 in about 30, 40 years plus case, those who are diabetic, hypertension or coronary artery problem, they should go for the flax seeds, walnuts, and fish oil capsules also. These are all essential for 40 plus aged people as a therapeutic measures. And we have found useful in experience in Tulsi Kada. So that is even it's helpful in malaria and other fever condition also. That can be used here also. Tulsi Kada, you take 20 leaves of Tulsi and 10 pepper, black pepper, 5 grams of turmeric powder, and 10 grams of ginger. You just crush it and boil it well and filter it and add organic jaggery and drink. It's a good tonic, a good relishable drink. It can be adding with green, black jaggery, organic jaggery. It can be relished. People can enjoy 2 to 3 times a day. That is also found useful in this one. And naturopathy, we advocate for all diseases. At least one time you should take the raw food, only raw diet. That is, any seasonal, regional fruits are available apart from above what I have told earlier. But any seasonal, regional fruits, all fruits are good. And any seasonal, regional salads, they're all good. And any multigrain sprouts. So we need the essential proteins also, and which are easily digestible and absorbable. So sprouts, multigrain, any grams can be sprouted and taken. It could be the green gram, Bengal gram, or the alfalfa, ragi, any sprouts, anything can be sprouted. And multigrain, then we should use the vegetable chutneys, leaf vegetable chutneys, adding Indian spices, onion, garlic, coconut, green chilies, etc. That is also, and vegetable soup, hot soup. So these are all the nutritious food, easily absorbable. So we can improve the gut health also, and all the essential nutrients are available with this raw food, and easy to digest, you don't need to cook also. Whatever is available, anybody can. It's affordable also. It's not costly. No need to cook also. It saves time also. At least one time a day, so to keep the immunity boosting up. So this one-time raw diet is found to be in all diseases, and the same principle can be used for in this condition also. As far as naturopathy treatment is concerned, so as like we have seen, even the animals, whenever they get sick, they take sun bath and air bath. So 15 to 30 minutes daily, we should expose our body for sun bath and air bath. And of course, you can keep wet pack on the head, on the scalp, and drink 2 to 3 liters of water so that you don't get giddiness or weakness. Or you can take some juices also in that time. So sun bath is essential for vitamin D, free of cost and nature, and you will relax also. And it gives you warmness also to the body. And hot or neutral immersion bath in the full tub. If you don't have full tub, you can use any tub sitting or full body, full immersion is very good. If not, sitting up in hot bath also increases the body temperature. That also, because it's found to be, it can kill the coronaviruses, or it can stop the replication. And as we are told in the BC, because corona is leading to the respiratory problem, asthma bath is, well, it's an old, for last 30 years we have been doing in naturopathy. Asthma bath is very effective in expectoration treatment, that is also. So it is also can be given at home or anywhere. It's a technique as to learn, that's all. And even the lungs drainage therapy is also chest massage. That is also very effective. These are the treatment aspects. It can be done, even hot foot arm bath also is useful. So such thing can be done in at home remedies also. And regarding comes to yoga therapy, all yogic kriyas, the woman dauti, kunjal, it can be done for 3 to 4 days continuously and followed by alternative day can be done. Of course, Vastra Dhoti, because a common man cannot do Vastra Dhoti. It's a tedious job, so we can exclude Vastra Dhoti, but whereas even Woman Dhoti itself is very helpful in non-respiratory respiratory and digestive disorders. So Woman Dhoti or Kunjal, that is good. For Jal Neti, Rubber Neti can be done daily. Kapal Bath is very essential. Kapal Bath, the breathing, fast breathing, expectoration. Then saltwater gargling daily can be done. And also Simhasana or Simhakriya as advocated by Sadhguru Vasudev, Isha Foundation, that is also effective. So if you do it for 21 times, the Simhakriya, that can be done. And pranayama, among pranayamas, Bastrika and Ujjaya are good vibration for the whole body. Surya Namaskara, if you do it loudly, chanting, Om Mitraya Namaha, like the 12 mantras should be chanted loudly and 12 rounds, that is also very effective. Of course, meditation and prayers as a daily routine, especially in the COVID area, in the lockdown season, in this duration, it is very helpful for the total mental health also. And among also the laughing class, there are laughing practice, 4 types of laughing that can also be done daily during this, and small group laughing classes also can, by maintaining social distance. And as a holistic approach, so total relaxation, whatsoever it may be, stress, domestic stress, professional, business, whatever it may be, you have to get rid of the stress. If stress is there, so it will bring your total immunity down. So any virus can attack, any bacteria can attack, any disease can attack. So mentally total health, no whatsoever it may be the surrounding factor, ground condition, but you should be relaxing totally, physically, mentally, all that thing. So let us lead to a simple life, moral life, and see the whole globe is burning in this situation. So God Almighty is right in its own action. Maybe we have spoiled the nature in all aspects, the forest, water, the sky, the air, everything is spoiled, everything is adulterated, food is adulterated, nothing we have laid for the sake of earning money. World was going fast, jet economic growth, now it has come down to down. So economy is not only things, mainly is our health is much important than health, this said with you. Any questions, please?
Very nice, sir. Actually, there is a question. I think you should answer that. The question is that, there is enough evidence that the circadian rhythm, the disturbance in circadian rhythm, our sleep and waking cycles, that disturbs our psychological state, causes stress, and changes our hormone and immune reactions. So,
yes.
Should we not promote the good sleeping habits and a good routine for the people? Because most of the world at this moment is under lockdown, and the circadian rhythm is completely disturbed. So should we not promote this aspect, a good sleeping habits and maintaining a good routine to the people who are watching this?
Yeah, total health, the holistic body, mind, sleep itself is a medicine. People, because for the sake of earning or job or permission or in profession, or even the stress, we lose our sleep. So sleep itself is a medicine. Sleep is much more important than any food and nutrition. So we can be without food for 2-3 days, but if you can't sleep, if you sleep one night, don't sleep one night properly, so you are disturbed the other day. So sleep, it's as per the modern science also, sleep itself is a medicine. We must have the proper, all the routine, that natural life, immunity, anything comes, health comes only through your lifestyle, day-to-day routine. That is daily habits should be proper. More or less, life has to be regulated in all aspects, in food, in drinking water, in exercise, in sleep, in profession, in your mental relaxation. These are all total health. Without this basic thing, you cannot buy health. Sleep has to be regulated. It's like the food is important. More than important is the proper sleep, sound sleep, so that your whole body, our whole system, our organs rejuvenate. If you don't sleep, then mind won't get rest and relaxation. So then your whole, the next day life is very disturbed.
Perfect, sir. I think we'll bring you in whenever there is any other question which we feel is something which we should, or you can feel free to comment anytime.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
would-
this actually what I have told is a simple thing which can be followed. All Indian spices can be followed at home. Nothing like all herbs, tulsi or adrak or these things. These are all the ginger. These are all available. And so what I told is out of my rich practice all over India. So this only which can be followed at easily. The yoga kriyas can be followed at problem, and the sun bath, the diet pattern, laughing class, the total mental relaxation. These are all can be followed. And what I advocated, the food also is easily followable, and definitely it will help in boosting your health. Of course, corona, we have to maintain distance. We have to be preventive aspect that has to be done.
Sure, sir. To the audience, I would like to mention that we are continuously taking questions, so you can post your questions on any platform where you have joined us live on. Next panelist I want to bring in is Dr. Sunil Kumar Patel. He's one of the senior most physicians in Nepal, joining from Kathmandu. Dr. Sunil.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Okay.
You have to increase your volume, please. Your volume is very low.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Very
Yes,
low.
yes.
Better or this one is better?
Yeah, this is better.
Still better, now
Now it is
better.
better?
Still you increase.
Okay. Okay. My gratitude and good morning to everyone. So let's go right away in, I'll like to share my screen and see. Let's not waste any time. Okay, today we are going to talk about lifestyle changes and can you hear me now?
Yes, okay.
Okay. So today we are talking about lifestyle changes and superfood for super immunity. Okay. So all these things, all this recording also will be available on the new YouTube channel we are going to launch soon, Life Positive 9. If anyone is interested, there is my phone number that will be available at the end of the session. So for the time being, let's go to the slide. So let's just summarize. Basically, Dr. Murthy has already told, let's come to each and every point, okay? So the best way to boost our immunity and be healthy is return to nature. We all know. So what is return to nature? We'll go into that. So let's go. There were questions about circadian rhythms. Very fantastic question. Yes, circadian rhythm affects our immunity for sure. If we are not regular, there have been fantastic researches, and the science community, the medical science is very clear now that if you don't sleep at night, you are more prone to diseases, and you are more prone to NCDs, non-communicable diseases, as well as communicable diseases. So sleep is must, and there has been numerous researches, and the latest one I'm talking about, like 2019, the research says not too much of sleep. Around 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very good. That's good enough. Okay. Then 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Then natural water. I'll talk about water, and I also would like to focus on water. Which kind of water do we need to drink? purified water, and I'm against purified water because there are a few researches that shows uh, purifying water the modern way, the modern Western way, takes out all the essential nutrients, essential minerals, and also there have been thousands of researches questioning the pH of water. We all know our body is an alkaline medium, and we need to maintain that with alkaline water always, always, always. And rather than any fancy reverse osmosis and other things, I'd prefer a candle filter. And we all know about COVID-19. Many of the things are still unclear because this is very, very new thing for us. But one thing is clear: COVID-19, the coronavirus, cannot survive on copper for more than 4 hours. We know it for sure. It will be alive on papers and even on plastic materials for up to 3 days. So that shows copper has got some benefits. So natural water, candle filter, that too spring water if possible. Otherwise, tap water, you just filter it with a candle filter. You get copper candle filters everywhere, so you can use that. And Dr. Raghavendra Rao has already told about the effect of exercises. So I'd like to focus on exercise first. Exercise is not just doing yoga or just running or hitting the gym. There are three kinds of exercises we all need to be clear. Okay, what is the most important exercise is, according to researchers and according to medical science, means aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise that keeps your heart rate high, that makes you gasping, all these things. And yoga, I'd like to emphasize on yoga because yoga is such a beautiful thing. You can modify the way you want. You want resistance, if you want resistance training, you can do it with yoga. You want stretching, you can do it with yoga. You can benefit the internal organs with yoga, no matter what. Okay, so yoga, cardio and yoga. Then second thing is, we need, our body needs resistance training. Resistance training means like weightlifting or working in the garden or digging, working on the fields. All these are resistance training. Okay, so that builds up your muscles and keeps your bones healthy. And third, you can talk about stretching, but anyhow, we can modify yoga the way we want. So I'm not going into that very much. And Dr. Murthy has already told about pranayamas and kriyas. These are very much essential. Okay, so I'm not going to in depth with that. The another part, what was missing was meditations. So there, we all know COVID-19 is a very new virus. We don't know how it's going to respond to many of the things, including pharmacotherapy. But meditation, we know, is excellent for balancing the immune functions. Okay, so I'd love to add meditations, and there are thousands of types of meditation. You can use any. Then another thing I'd like to focus is on vegetarianism. Yes, being vegetarian is very much essential. We already know, the science, medical science already knows that more than 70% of the virus diseases came from eating meat, came from animals, right? More than 70%. It's a statistics given by WHO recently. So being vegetarian will help, no doubt. And also another problem that alters our immunity is addiction. So we need to be addiction free. Doesn't matter whether it is alcohol, smoking, all those things, because we all know this suppresses our immune reactions, immune functions, all those things. Being vegetarian, you can already know about plenty of veggies, salads, fruits, all those things healthy routine should be always there should be a routine your body needs to follow, otherwise it gets exhausted. The moment you get exhausted, it's obvious that the immune function gets exhausted. So healthy routine should be there. It needs to cycle, it needs to be a healthy routine. And sunbath, I'd like to emphasize on sunbath because there have been thousands of research on sunbath and immune functions. Okay, so previously we used to believe that morning sunbath used to be good, but now the science says mainly in metros because of the pollution, what our body needs for vitamin D is UVB, ultraviolet B rays. And the science knows clearly that ultraviolet B will be maximum in the noon. So according to science, now 10 to 2 o'clock sunbath is excellent. And ultraviolet B cannot penetrate uh, the glass, so there should be direct contact to your skin. And there are many people who take sunbath after using sunscreen. For our skin, it is very obvious that we don't need sunscreen. Okay, and there has been a research that SPF 5, nowadays in the market you are using SPF 75. So the research says if you use SPF 5 on a skin, then your skin will not be able to manufacture vitamin D for up to 3 months. So we need to be cautious. You can use sunscreen on your face, but not on your body. We don't need, basically, the dark skin color filters, and there are no chances of skin cancer as we are exposed to sun, as it is for the foreigners or albinos. Then we have talked about vegetarian diet. I'd also like to talk about not only vegetarian diet, like we need to also eat as less artificial foods as possible. Okay, we need to use high fiber diet, and it needs to be balanced, all the things, and healthy balance. Fasting a day every week is an excellent way to keep your immune functions optimum. Dr. Janak will be addressing on that, I hope. So I'll talk less about fasting, but fasting is fantastic on killing and keeping your immune system balanced and optimum. Positive thinking, yeah, the immune function starts from here too. This has got fantastic results on immune function. Let me tell you flatly, the difference between a poor and rich, a talented and non-talented, a successful and unsuccessful, and also a disease and a healthy person, the difference is over here. So positive thinking helps. So this is I've just summarized few of the lifestyle changes that our body needs. And I'd like you to see on the screen, I've shown you a small research paper on microbial exposure during early life. You can see there have been many hypotheses, including BCG vaccine and other things, but why we are so immune, why less people are dying in Asia is because we are exposed to microbes early in life. Because Dr. Rajesh and we were in UK in the Virgin Islands for almost 7 years. And I'll tell you, we did not have no fever for 7 years. We didn't have no cough for 7 years. We didn't have no cold for 7 years. So in the West, it is very difficult to get exposed to all these pathogens. Over here in Indian subcontinent, we are exposed to cold virus, influenza virus, rhinovirus, all these things. So that has kept our immunity a little bit high. So that could be one of the reasons. This is one of the hypotheses I'm putting on, but this is research backed. You can see on the screen, microbial exposure during early life has got persistent effect till your death on natural killer T cells function, and this applies to the virus too. Okay, so we are lucky. Let's say we are lucky. And today I was supposed to focus on superfoods. Okay, what are the superfoods? superfoods are the foods that are used by the centenarians. Like I've researched extensively for almost 10 years in those areas where people live more than 100 or more than 90, and these are the foods they eat a lot, and their immune function is high. That's why this is lead to the longevity also. So the superfoods, we are going to the superfoods like green foods, veggies and salads, fruits and nuts on 3, fermented foods, germinated foods, colostrum, whole grains and legumes. So we already know, and Dr. Janak will be talking on this, veggies and salads. So I'll not be touching that part. I'll just show you a few slides. Fruits and nuts, he'll be touching on that. So I'll not touch that part. Germinated foods, Dr. Murthy has already talked about that. Whole grains and legumes, Dr. Janak, he'll tell you about that. So I'll talk regarding a few more interesting points. Okay. So let's go for these things. Can you see it on the screen or not? Otherwise, I'll just keep it a little bit bigger so that it will be easier for you guys. Okay. So so green foods, let's talk about green foods, because very less people will be talking about this. What are the green foods? Let's be very clear. The green foods are divided into 2 chapters. One, wheat grass, barley grass, all these things. And second is seafoods, seaweeds. Okay. So there are many things. There have been many researches telling you the efficiency of green foods on immune function. So the current one you are seeing on the screen is the active oligosaccharides isolated from wheat grass, and that can lead to immune functions, balancing the immune function and enhancing it against the virus as well. So let's go about these green foods. We know about wheat and barley grass, but we don't know about many other things that are called seaweeds, like blue-green algae you can see on the screen, spirulina, wakame, kelp, nori, hijiki. All these are called seaweeds. These are used basically in Japanese foods. Okay. If you go to Japanese restaurants, they wrap the rice into a green film. Those are called nori hijiki. Okay, the blue-green algae leaf. They are highly nutritionally concentrated form of food. Okay, they've got fantastic amount of chlorophyll, fibers, almost all amino acids, omega-3 antioxidants, minerals including selenium and iodine that are very much essential for our immune functions. Dr. Raghavendra has already talked about that. And there are many how super seaweed, the seaweed stimulates our immune function. And on virus as well. On the screen, you can see the seaweeds can also have anti-HIV effects. Okay, so it has got some antiviral functions as well, I believe so. So but about corona, about COVID-19, we don't know anything about it yet, but I believe so there should be, because if it can act against HIV, it should be able to act against COVID-19 as well. So about veggies, we know about veggies, and Dr. Janak will be talking about veggies, but right now I'll tell you, Allium group, we should not forget, these are antivirals. I'm focusing you on antiviral veggies. Okay, onion, garlic, all the bulbs and leaves, okay, are excellent antivirals. Capsicum, all the capsicum group are excellent antivirals. And watercress, what do you call Rajas watercress in Hindi, so that many people should know? This is available. This is a vegetable that grows on all wetlands. This has got round, thick, wet leaves. We call in Nepal, we call that pani ghas, or it grows on the. It's excellent. And according to the researchers, this is the second best food ever in the world. The first is being almond. The watercress is another. This is available all over the world no matter wherever you go. If there is some small pod, it starts growing automatically. Watercress. You can Google if you are not very clear on watercress. So the second is fruits, seasonal fruits, and I like to focus on acai fruit and berries, which has got fantastic functions, fantastic helpful, very much helpful for our immune function as well. And we all know about dried fruits and nuts. Beta carotene, vitamin C, E, all these things Dr. Janak will be talking on. And if you'd like some references or research papers, I'll be happy to provide you that as well. Let's go to another interesting chapter is fermented foods. Okay. Fermented foods. Many people don't know about fermented foods, but I was born in India and grew up in Nepal, and so I know fermented foods in Nepal has got fantastic variety of fermented foods. So what are the fermented foods? Let's go to that. Okay. In India, we use very less fermented foods, so we need to focus. I'm going to focus on this chapter a little bit more. These are also called bioactive and functional foods. Okay. So yogurt is a fermented food. Dosa and idli batter is a fermented food. All the prebiotic, probiotic, all the bacteria that are very much essential and very much helpful for us are called fermented foods. Okay. But when we cook dosa and idli, I feel I've reference few reference to the researchers as well. The scientists believe the good bacteria get killed. So maybe you can just taste little bit of idli and dosa batter after it gets fermented. Here we are talking about bacterial fermentation. These are called bacterial fermentation. These prebiotic and probiotics are available in buttermilk. Buttermilk is one of the best food we use in India, but we don't use many other fermented food that are essential. Tofu is also a fermented food that's excellent. Have you heard about fermented bamboo shoots? That's excellent fermented food as well. Here you just take a baby small bamboo shoot, you cut it whenever the bamboo is around 1 or 2 feet, and you slice it up and put it on a vessel and keep it on the sun. After 5-10 days, it gets fermented. It has got very sour taste. Okay. This is because of the lactobacillus, a variety of lactobacillus fermentation. It has got prebiotics, probiotics, everything. And the same thing applies to fermented veggies as well. You just pluck all whatever the veggies you want. In Nepal, they use mainly tori. Tori is what do you call? Mustard greens. Okay. And they also use, basically after eating radish, we throw out the leaves, but you can collect those leaves and take a vessel, push it and keep it over there and let it ferment. You don't have to use anything. You don't have to use no bacteria, nothing. You don't have to use nothing. You just push it nicely and cover the cap and keep it on the sun. And after a few days, it starts oozing out. That means it's fermenting inside. So that's the way to ferment veggies. And after that, you can cook, make a soup out of it, or you can dry. In the Himalayan region, in Nepal, they dry these fermented vegetables. It has got thousands of varieties of bacteria, as lactobacillus strains, and the spores, which can, after entering into our body, it works as a fantastic fermented bioactive and functional. So there is also a trend I found in Himalayan countries, including Nepal. They make urdal veggie chunks. So you can use any vegetable you want, and you mix urad dal, and then make chunks and let it dry, let it ferment and dry in the sun. And whenever there is nothing available, you can use that as a vegetable. Khalpi is another thing. I think everyone know about some pickling the ripe cucumbers, the brown ripe cucumbers. If you pickle it, it starts fermenting. It has got sour taste. That's called kalpi. And abroad, like in Turkey, Egypt, China, Japan, Korea, all these people use kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, natto, douchi, hamchoy, temp. These are fermented pickles. These are also available in your supermarket. And these are excellent immunomodulators. Okay, these stimulate and balance our immune system, because 90% of our immune system is based on our guts, in our intestines. We need to remember that the immune system lies in our stomach. So, and it also if your gut bacteria is healthy, that also enhances your functioning of your brain as well. There are many neurological disorders and immune confusions that are treated by these foods. We know we just don't need to stimulate or hyper stimulate our immune system, because that can lead to another autoimmune disorders. So we need to balance, and autoimmune disorders are very difficult to treat. These foods will be very much essential for that as well, not only balancing our immune system for COVID. So all this research paper you can go through. Eating fermented food can give you a boost to your immune system. All this, there are many research papers available online. There is a scientist, Dr. Tamang in India. He's very famous on doing researches on this group as well. He has been using fermented foods for treating gastrointestinal disorders, including ulcers, everything. The last and very interesting, another immune boosting food we are talking about is colostrum. I hope everyone knows about colostrum. Do you? Colostrum, after giving birth, all mammals, after giving birth to a baby, the mother will ooze out very high fat, high protein milk for 1 to 3 days. That is called colostrum. I don't know about you, but I've seen many communities in India and in Nepal, after the cow gives birth to a baby, they milk the cow, and the whole community shares that colostrum. It's spreading that immunity to the whole village. And we already know, because colostrum has got high amount of IgG, immunoglobulins, that immunoglobulins are essential for the baby's health. Okay, that's why we always promote breastfeeding our kids, because all the immunity, all the things that mother is exposed to is that goes to their blood, that goes to their breast milk, and in turn the new babies, the infant, gets that immunity from the mother. So colostrum is one of the very much essential foods for our immune system. And how to use it. This COVID era, I've tried colostrum 3 times, and it is excellent. And there have been thousands of researchers. If you Google the effects of bovine immunoglobulins on our immune functions, I don't know about whether it works for COVID, but I am very much positive it might, because there have been researchers that it works for allergies, it works for infections, viral infections. So I hope for COVID as well. So we can use colostrum, cow colostrum. The first day when the cow gives birth to the baby, you collect the milk, keep for the kid, keep for the calf, but collect. There will be lots of amounts. First day there will be like 5-10 times the amount of the regular yield. So collect some, then you can filter that under aseptic precautions. You can drink that directly. Okay. Many communities, they boil that milk, and when it solidifies, they use sugar and use that. But I'm against that. It's better to drink the colostrum directly from the cow without cooking. And that has got tremendous effect on our immune functions as well. Colostrum has got all the immunoglobulins, growth factors, vitamin A, copper, zinc, and antioxidants. So this can be another fantastic foods. So whole grains to boost immune functions. Dr. Janak will be talking on that. If time permits, I can also share about Aayush recommendations for immunity, like Indukanta Kasaya, Agastha Rasayan, Yoga and Natural Lifestyle, the Aayush research core team, I think, produced this. So if I hope if you Google, you'll find, but I've summarized 3 researches on COVID by Aayush. So this has got everything, like for clinical support. If somebody has got COVID, what? Like gooseberries, tulsi, ginger, lemon, turmeric, 200 ml BD for adults, 100 ml for kids. Yoga therapy, sunbath, naturopathic treatments. Dr. Murthy has already talked about that. For irritation, if you have got throat irritation, salt, turmeric, and tulsi gargle. And there are some herbal preparations, Ayurvedic preparations, Bresol, Haridrakhand for upper respiratory tract allergies, frequent hot water with honey, kasaya, and kara made out of guduchi, chiraita, tulsi, turmeric, jeera, clove, lemon, all those things. I think hot lemon, ginger, honey also helps. And for convulsions, if you are recovering, then dasapula, Katutrayam Kasaya, Indukantam Kasaya, all these things, Rasayan Chikitsa, Yoga and Natural Lifestyle, all these things Aayush is recommending. We need to know, is balancing immunity or enhancing our immune function or modulating the immune functions is not like it can happen overnight. You need to maintain that all over your life. So there is no alternative about balancing your lifestyles and dietary habits. It doesn't happen overnight. And we need to know there are more dangerous pathogens than COVID-19. So we need to get ready for that as well. And natural lifestyle is the only key. We need to balance it. I don't believe in like stimulating the immune function. I believe in balance. Balance is health. You might need minor amounts of poisons as well in your body, right? So it's about not only enhancing the function, also by balance. So artificial lifestyle, artificial food, stress, we know leads to overactive immune function. That also can lead to you getting exposed to other diseases as well. Also, Viber. Also COVID-19. So that summarizes my presentation. So let's see if there are any questions. Dr. Rajesh?
Dr. Sunil, I think there is one very interesting question which I would like to put to Dr. Murthy. And the question is, what is the opinion or comment on this basic principle of naturopathy that germs don't cause disease, but only found in diseased conditions? Here is the case of COVID-19. It's a virus. Is it because of unhygienic body or unhealthy body, or respiratory disease which is predisposed in individual living complication? So what he's asking actually, the anonymous, we don't know who the belief which says that viruses or bacteria, they are created in a body which is having a lot of accumulated morbid matter, unwanted material. So since COVID-19 is a viral condition, is it because our body is more ready to receive this virus, or is it something else which we have to look at? Sir, I think, Murthy sir, you have to unmute your phone. You have to unmute it. Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah,
we can hear.
Yeah, please go ahead.
We can hear you, sir.
So yeah, we see in philosophy of nature cure established 100 years back, it is told the bacteria are the secondary factors and the primary factor is the toxemia, foreign matter, that all. But it may be, it is not fully, in this COVID case, it may not be fully correct, but not fully wrong also. Because it may not affect each and everybody. Immunity, of course, immunity, toxemia makes a importance. It can be, it's an exceptional case also, because here it is fast growing. It can attack anybody, even a 100% healthy person also can be attacked. So this is exception. We have to accept that one. But in order to sustain that infection, the immunity is good. We have to detoxify our body. As I told you, have to take enriched food in vitamin C, zinc food, zinc rich food, iron rich food, all these things, and amino acid food, a lot of sprouts, natural food, and Indian spices. It can be taken. It can be, this infection can be controlled, and the viral multiplication can be reduced. So it is a both aspect.
I would like to add one more thing to what Murthy sir said, and that is that majority of the cases in COVID-19 are asymptomatic, which means that you don't have any symptoms of the disease. Number one. Number two is that majority of the cases of positive cases of COVID-19, which are tested positive, which are admitted into hospital, they do not have complications. Only about 20% of the people actually need hospitalization. 80% don't even need hospitalization. Out of those people who are tested positive, only 5% need critical care, which means that these are the serious people, those who need ventilators or life support systems. So what is happening with the 95% of the people of COVID-19? The self recovery is happening. It's your immune system which is actually helping you to recover. So
yes,
this is the time we should actually promote the very healthy lifestyle, immune promoting lifestyle, good diet, good nutrition, good sleep, stress relieving habits. And these are very, very helpful in actually understanding that how even the deadly virus like COVID-19 is acting on our bodies. So I would like to bring in Dr. Abhay Sankar Gowda. He's the Dean Aayush at Bharati University in Meerut, and he is our next panelist. So welcome, Dr. Abhay.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. It has been a wonderful discussion from the morning, today afternoon. I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be talking about yoga and immunity. As we all know, Samatvam Yoga Uchate is one of the definitions given by the yoga. Brings equanimity. That is, it brings not equality, it is equanimity. It brings a sense of balance in the physical body as well as the mind and the emotions and all the aspects of human existence. Now, yoga has 8 limbs: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Most of the people only focus on the physical aspect of asanas practice. But again, universal ethics, individual ethics, like mental practices are also very, very important in case of yoga practices. The advantages, again, it is easily integrated with any system of medicine. It not necessarily see that yoga is practiced individually or something like that. It can be practiced along with any system. It may be Ayurveda, maybe allopathy, maybe homeopathy, any system of medicine, and also as a preventive aspect also to maintain and maintain good health as well as prevent diseases. It can be used. It has very less or adverse, very low or nil adverse effects And it's a holistic approach with answers to stress induced, that is psychosomatic illnesses, as well as modern day lifestyle disorders is very, very important. Although many forms of yoga practice are safe, but some are strenuous and may not be appropriate for everyone. One has to consider their age, their physical abilities while practicing yoga. How it works, it again teaches the sustained muscular activity with the internally directed focus, producing a self-contemplative mental state. So it is not just an exercise, it is to be proper observation, proper breathing. That is awareness is very important while doing yoga. It's not just a form of exercise or the way one does gymnastics, the way one does athletics. It's not that. So it is very important that to have a sustained muscular activity, that is very slow action. I'll be coming to that. And it triggers neurohormonal mechanisms that bring about health benefits by suppression of sympathetic activity and producing a relaxation response through elevation of parasympathetic activity. That is a wonderful thing, which see till now the autonomic nervous system, which has their sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects, wherein the stress induces the sympathetic activity. Parasympathetic activity is very important to stay healthy, to be relaxed, and that's what yoga does. It produces a relaxation response. The psychoneuroimmunology effects of stress can be reversed by the practice of yoga. Now, what is this psychoneuroimmunology effect? Again, the mind, status of the mind. For example, stress is a simple example where the mind is affected, and because of that there will be neuronal as well as hormonal changes in the body, especially because of stress hormones like cortisol, etc. And these will affect the immune system of the body. The immune system of the body, it can be altered to a autoimmune disorder, or it can be altered to a hyperimmune status, or the immunity status can be lowered. These can be balanced by the practice of regular yogic practices. Now, how it works again, yoga brings down the cortisol level, the beta endorphins are increased, the decrease in interleukin 6 and TNF alpha in chronic inflammatory diseases, and also risk of cardiovascular events in obese subjects is decreased. Meditation also helps in improving these immunity factors. See, one who cannot do yogic practices can also practice some music therapy or such relaxative things, which will be helpful in decreasing the cortisol levels, or decrease the interleukin 4, interleukin 2, and increase interleukin 4, which is good, and also allograft survival, etc. And the stress response, see, as shown by the medical fraternity, stress is going to alter at the HPA axis, that is hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, and create a lot of hormonal imbalances in the body. And this is a simple example of how it can create a increased heart rate and increased blood pressure in the body by the stress response. And when there is a relaxation response by practices like music therapy, like yoga, like relaxation, meditation, and all that, the blood pressure also can be brought down. That is, of course, this is voluntarily it can be brought down. There is no more saying that autonomic nervous system is not in our control. We can control the autonomic nervous system by producing this relaxation response. And a point to be noted here is stress response may be automatic or autonomic, fully controlled by the autonomic system, but relaxation response is a thing where we can modify, where we can take control of the body's changes. That is how relaxation response affects into better health status. We can do it voluntarily, the relaxation response, and it is required that the person is aware of things, is relaxing, he gives commands by himself, and that is how it can help. Now, stress or distress can affect the immunity. There is immune balance because of decreased type 1 cytokines and increased type 2 cytokines. And this may cause hypersensitivity like asthma, atopy, SLE, etc. Whereas it also can decrease the host defenses, where viral susceptibility, latent virus expression is also triggered. Now, relaxation benefits again. Relaxation response causes slowed brain wave patterns, improved skin and vision, improved sleep and energy, decreased muscle tension, slow heart rate, lowers the blood pressure and blood lactate levels, improved immune system. This is the topic of today: improved immune system, improves digestion, normal libido, restores circulation, decreases the metabolism, improved sense of well-being, and the ability to communicate effectively and manage life's demand. These are some of the advantages of relaxation response. Now, how stress affects immunity? Again, because of stress, there is poor sleep, and the psychological stress will affect the autonomic nervous system. As I said, the hypothalamo-pituitary axis is activated. Maladaptive health behaviors are seen, and this affects the acquired immunity, the immunosenescence, that is telomere attrition, as well as the innate immunity of the body, which leads to susceptibility to infectious illnesses as well as inflammatory conditions in the body. Now, reducing this stress, yoga or meditation or relaxation reduces the stress and anxiety, improves the autonomic and higher neural center functioning, and improves physical health of even patients suffering from complex diseases like cancer. Presently, yoga therapy is being used effectively in managing cardiovascular, respiratory, musculoskeletal, gastrointestinal, endocrine, nervous, immunity-related, and reproductive disorders. Now, let me put a point here. There was a study done in tuberculosis, as well as some HIV studies are also there, where it has been shown that yoga practices, meditation, relaxation help them to recover faster. Infectious status is faster mitigated by the people who practice yoga, along with the other medications which are accepted worldwide. Now, yoga affects all aspects of human existence. The physical body, that is the Annamaya Kosha, which is the food sheet of the body, it affects and it makes it healthy. The Pranamaya Kosha, which is the energy levels of the body are balanced. The Ida, Pingala, the Sushumna, all the energy channels of the body are balanced. The Manomaya Kosha, that is the mind. Now, these are all the aspects, the 5 aspects of human existence itself. The Manomaya Kosha is the mind, and yoga helps in calming down the mind, relaxing the mind, balances the mental activity. Vijnanamaya Kosha is again the intellectual aspect of a human being, that is also given a lot of importance in yoga. Anandamaya Kosha, the happiness quotient of the body, is also affected by regular practice. Now, psychological stress is thought to undermine host resistance to infection through neuroendocrine mediated changes in immune competence. Yoga improves the parasympathetic response, thereby induces a relaxation response, which in turn reduces the effect of stress hormones. It brings balance and improves immunity. Now, what are the various practices in yoga which we can do regularly, even a common man can do, are some of the asanas, the pranayamas, kriyas. Kriyas include jalaneti, sutraneti, vamana kriya, relaxation techniques, simple shavasana, or simple breathing, awareness of the breathing. One has to simply sit calmly and then observe his breathing pattern. Do not alter that. Observe the breathing pattern. Slowly the breathing becomes very slow. Longer breaths are taken, and that itself is a sort of relaxation technique that can be practiced. Meditation techniques, there are numerous ways of meditating. One has to start observing his activities, especially when we observe our breath, we observe the sounds which are occurring by closing our eyes. We start concentrating on those inner aspects of the body. That itself is relaxation and meditation, which can be practiced by anybody, anywhere. Just have to close your eyes and start observing your breathing pattern. How to do these yogic practices is more important, because that is how the effects of yoga are established on. They have to be very relaxed. That's very important. It is not an exercise. One has to remember that yoga is not exercise. It is not a repetitive repetition of certain movements or something like that. It has to be very, very relaxed, very slowly, something like a slow motion in a cricket, what you call a live video. When we see that the umpire is checking whether the decision is correct or not, or whatever, when we see a slow motion, in that speed, if we do yoga, is very, very effective, because at that time we can do it with awareness. That is very important. Every part of the body moves, and those movements have to be observed. The pain, what happens, the stretching, where it is, where the compression is there, all that awareness should be there. And importantly, also breath awareness is very important during any practice of yogic practices. Breath awareness again will help in improvising the relaxation response. Now, other advantages of yoga other than this is stress reduction. Of course, as I told you now, helps stay fit. Now, because of the COVID-19, we are all under lockdown, and most of the people are have become very, very lethargic, very sedentary in their lifestyle, and this would forget about COVID-19. Just because we are staying healthy inside the house, we are staying safe, we are maintaining the social distance. What would happen is in this long what you call lockdown, other health problems could be developed, like obesity is one of the simplest thing which can occur. Diabetes mellitus, which is also a risk when we have sedentary lifestyle. So these lifestyle disorders can be avoided by regular practice of yoga. More balanced mental state, it reduces the anxiety of the person, because in these difficult times, again, everyone is anxious about staying at home, and anxious about getting COVID-19 infection, anxious about what will be the financial status after this COVID. All these will bring in stress, and that is why we can reduce anxiety by regular practice of yoga. Good sleep, it gives good sleep and normalizes the circadian rhythm. Yoga is known, there are many studies where it has been shown that regular practice of yoga brings the normal circadian rhythm. Why this is important is the right time to eat, the right time to wake up, the right time to sleep is all very important. A regular healthy lifestyle includes all this, and yoga can help you bring this circadian rhythm to normalcy. And definitely we can stay healthier by the practice of yoga. We stay home, stay safe, maintain social distance, and practice yoga for staying healthy. Thank you. Because there are a lot of practices which I mean, there are hundreds of practices. We cannot list out any practice as such. Simple asanas, simple pranayamas can be practiced. Meditation, relaxation is very important. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. So if there are any questions, I'd like to take them.
There are a lot of questions coming in about the specific use of kriyas.
1 second. I'm not able to pause sharing. Are you still able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's off now.
Yeah,
Okay.
now it's paused.
There are
Yes,
a
Dr.
few
Rajesh,
questions-
you were saying about?
Yeah, there are questions about the specific use of kriyas like Kunjal, Sudarshan Kriya, Bhastrika. There are Jalleti. So do we have any specific information about them, or do we apply them as general principles of cleansing, personal hygiene and detox?
If we talk about COVID-19 evidence, again, we do not have any evidence right now for these, specifically for COVID-19, because COVID-19 is just a baby. It's about 3 to 4 months old only. So there were not many studies done, I feel. But we have seen the effects of these yogic practices previously in infectious diseases, which are definitely helpful for preventing. Definitely, yes. The kriyas can be practiced because they are cleansing and helpful in improving the what you call upper nasal tract immunity. The gut immunity is also better by the practices of Kunjal Kriya or Basti and such kriyas. Pranayamas definitely will help in improving the what you call immune status of the lungs, as well as the overall energy sheet is controlled by pranayama. Now, it would be very, what you call, uh, traditionally speaking, we can say the prana is balanced, but scientifically also we can see that scientifically we can also see that the immune functions or immune system of the body is having a lot of improvement by the practice of pranayamas, the Sudarshan Kriya, the various techniques which are explained uh, in the traditional texts of yoga have been proven to be clinically very, very effective also in various diseases. As I said, tuberculosis is a very what you call grave infectious disease which affects the low immunity people. It has been shown that during tuberculosis there is a faster recovery or a sooner what you call the bacterial status is negated and earlier. Also, a lot of studies in HIV were done with the yogic practices like meditation, relaxation, which have shown that definitely the coping strategies for these stressful disorder. I mean, there is a lot of stress in these disorders also. I'm not saying COVID-19 can be totally what you call remote because of yogic practices, but definitely it will help the people who are already suffering. These kriyas can be made, the practice can be made regularly, as well as to prevent COVID-19. These practices will be definitely helpful.
Dr. Abhay, there is a question from Dr. Naveen GH. It's lying for a long time, and the question was originally put to Dr. Rao, but the question is something which is relevant to your presentation, and that is that it is known that exercise improves immunity. Physical exercise helps in improving immunity.
Yeah.
So why do you think that those people, I mean, the question was when Dr. Raghavendra Rao was presenting that, there were some sports persons who interacted with COVID-19 despite being very physically fit. So how do you think that they will have interacted that virus? So he has suggested a thing that, is it because they overworked or they were, overactive physically, or there was a lot of training because of which that happened? What I think, because I saw that thing, and that was that, anybody can interact a condition. What is good about those people who interacted COVID-19 in those sports persons is that none of them actually got hospitalized. None of them showed any symptoms. Actually, nobody was critical. So that was a good thing about, having a good immune system or being physically fit. And that is very, very important to be highlighted, that even if you get a COVID-19 virus, if you are keeping fit, that helps in reducing the healthcare emergencies, and that helps in reducing the criticalities. You can still spread the infection. That is why it is very important to stay safe and keep your contacts very safe. But it is important that, being physically fit also helps in reducing the criticalities. So I think that suggests, so his suggestion was taken. Do you have anything to say on that?
As Dr. Raghavendra in his first talk told that uh, COVID-19 is for definitely going to affect anybody and everybody if we are coming into contact. That is very important. How much contact one has come to is also very important. Uh, so it is not about coming into contact with COVID-19. Maybe we are also already into contact with the COVID-19 virus, but we have not yet developed the signs and symptoms. As you were also telling previously, that most of the cases are asymptomatic. So maybe everyone who has come into contact with the virus is not active or symptomatically active as of now, but definitely the athletes who would have got this maybe because of the contact what they have or repeated contact they might have got because of the frequent traveling and other things, as well as see one of the I also saw the same question. One of the reasons why these athletes would have what you call contracted it because they train extensively and exercise. Moderate exercise is known to what you call prevent infectious diseases, and not too much or too less of exercise. Also too less is also not good, and too much is also not good. That may again what you call bring in the susceptibility to the infectious diseases. I mean, very important that we have to be fit. That is absolutely right, but that doesn't mean overdoing it is also necessary. Overdoing can bring down the immune status of the individual, and also the lifestyle, the what you call what food we take is also important. There are a lot of factors. So athletes might have got, that is not the reason that we just think that we should not exercise. Moderate exercise is known to improve the immunity status of a individual, and moderate exercise, not exhausting oneself, is very very important.
Yeah, I'd like to add on this. Not only as an athlete, I've been training athletes. So not only they exercise, over exercise, and they are focused in one thing. Okay, they are focused on enhancing your fitness only, just for bringing on the medals, not for making your immune system balance, not making you healthy. They don't focus. The athletes are not focused for your health. They are focused to get the medals. That's it. They are use drugs. They are use medicines, and overexertion, as Dr. Abhay told, overexertion gets your immune down. Absolutely, there have been hundreds of researches on elite athletes. They are very highly susceptible to diseases, no matter whether it is heart disease or hypertension, stress-related disorders. It's same with football players. They are prone to more fractures. They are prone to more diseases. They are prone to more osteoarthritis, and they are more prone to infections. So, Dr. Naveen, you are right. You are right.
There is one intervention which has come from Dr. Manoj Koteri. He is a senior colleague and director of Mental Wellness Center in Pune. He says that overtraining could also be detrimental to health in terms of increased ATP burning, which can also result in faster cell proliferation through mTOR pathways. Also, the adrenal fatigue. Exercise in moderation is always beneficial to build immunity. Underactivity and overactivity can be equally bad. I think this summarizes more or less what we want to say. Thank you, Dr. Manoj, for joining in and helping us. I would like to bring Dr. Janak Bahadur Basnet, our next panelist in discussion. He is the president of Yoga and Naturopathy Doctors Association of Nepal, one of the very senior yoga and naturopathy physicians, and he runs a wellness private hospital. So thank you, sir. Please join.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Let me share my screen. Can you see my slides?
Yes, it's visible. Please go ahead.
It is visible?
Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I think everything is covered by my seniors. So very few things to talk about these topics. So my topics here is
Dr. Janak,
yeah.
please go for slideshow version.
Slide is not coming, not visible.
No, slide is seen, but you go to the tab there, slideshow tab, up after animations. Now you are in home tab, right?
Okay.
Yeah, after animation, slideshow.
Slideshow. Okay. No.
Yeah, just above that.
Is it okay? Is it okay now?
In slideshow, you click on, you go to slideshow. Hello.
Yeah.
In the above menu, yeah, that is home menu. Yeah, next. Yeah, from beginning, the first one from beginning.
Okay. So is it okay now?
You'll have to.
Yes, it is okay. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. So my topics of discussion here is dietetics, nutrition, and fasting for immunity. So I think everything is already mentioned, and it will be just repeating the things. So our immune system, we know that our immune system protects us from infection, but also it has a role in prevention of all chronic disease, including cancer. So we know adequate and appropriate amount of nutrition is required for function of all the cells, including immune cells. And almost we know that from previous presentation, the immune cells are present into the gut. Almost 70% of immune cells are present into the gut, and more immunoglobulins are synthesized into the gut. So gut health or gut immune health is very important for overall immune. So our gut microbiota or normal bacterial flora plays very important role in the immune system. So when we eat any foods, that will directly interact with our immune system of the gut microbiome flora. So there is every system has their own approach of treating disease and boosting our immunity. And in naturopathy and yoga, also we have our own approach of dietetics and nutrition. So we have our own principle. So according to yoga, so diet is divided into three parts, like sattvic diet, rajasic diet, and tamasic diet. And when we talk about immunity, when we correlate with immunity, sattvic diet and rajasic diet are more convenient diet for improving our immune function, and the tamasic diet, which is a lethargic diet or unhealthy diet, it will decrease our immune function. And when we talk about naturopathy diet, in naturopathy there are three main types, like eliminative diet, soothing diet, and constructive diet. So eliminative diet means the diet which eliminates the toxins from our body, because in modern lifestyle, all our systems, all our body is loaded with lots of toxins from our food, lots of pesticide or preservatives, from our lots of medicines we take, from environmental toxins. So our systems are loaded with toxins. So we had to eliminate the toxins from our system. So for that purpose, we should first introduce the eliminative diet, and that is the most important diet for elimination is the juice fasting. And next thing is the soothing diet, which soothes our systems. So that is the second part, and third part is the constructive diet, which we say that is a proper healthy diet. So when we talk about the role of nutrients to the immune systems, so we should know about what are the important nutrients which plays a specific role to the proper immune function. So we can classify the nutrients like micronutrients, that is the protein, carbohydrate, and fats. So these nutrients plays important role for the structure of the immune cell and other cell also. So when these micronutrients imbalance occurs, or deficiency of protein, energy, malnutrition occurs, that leads to the poor immunity and leads to the infection that is already known. And most of the disease, the chronic disease, comes from the imbalance of the protein, carbohydrate, and fat, especially when carbohydrate and the sugar we take. If we take more, that leads to diabetes, and that also leads to the immune compromise. And when the fat, we take excess amount of fat, that will lead to the obesity, hypertension, and heart disease, and that also leads to the immune compromise. And when the protein, we take excess amount of protein, that leads to the uric acid and the gout, and so on, kidney disease, like that. So we need to balance our macronutrients also. And some part of these macronutrients plays a very specific role to our immune systems, like arginine, the amino acid arginine, which is on amino acid, which the macrophage uses nitric oxide for to kill the bacteria, and the glutamine, which is an important source of energy for the immune cells, more than glucose. Glutamine is used for the immune cells for the energy. And the carbohydrate, the oligosaccharide, already Dr. Sunil has mentioned that oligosaccharides, which is very useful for the proper functioning of the immune cells, that is required for cell binding, cell recognition, and glycolipids, which is formed from the with a lipid, and is important for immune response. And it is also prebiotic for the intestinal bacterial flora. And the fat, the omega-3, especially the omega-3 fatty acid, enhances the immune functions and reduce the inflammation. So these specific micronutrients also plays important role for the immune function. So when we talk about the immunity, the micronutrients plays very important role, especially the vitamins and the minerals are very important to boost our immunity. And all the vitamins plays a role, but out of that, vitamin C is the most important vitamin known to improve our immunity. It acts as a potent antioxidant, cofactor for biosynthesis and gene regulatory mechanism for enzymes. So vitamin C rich foods improves our immunity. And second thing is vitamin D. Vitamin D, as we know, vitamin D is related to calcium and bones, but now it is the research has shown that vitamin D also plays very important role to the innate and both innate and adaptive immune response. So many research has shown that the deficiency of vitamin D is associated with the autoimmune diseases. So it means that vitamin D also very important role with immune function. And another vitamin is vitamin A, which also regulates the cell division and proliferation of immune cells, and it is also acts as antioxidants, so thereby it reduces the inflammation. And another vitamin is vitamin E, which also is an antioxidant, which modulates T cell membrane integrity, signal transduction, and inflammation mediators generated by other immune cells. So these are the most important vitamins, like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin E are the important vitamins which plays very important role to the immune function. And of course, vitamin B complex will also have some role on this. So when we talk about the mineral and immune function, the most important mineral is the zinc, which plays very important micronutrient to and acts as a cofactor with both catalyst and structural role to maintain the proteins. So vitamin means the zinc deficiency, even a small amount of zinc deficiency may lead to the many infections and immunocompromise. So zinc is very important micronutrient mineral to boost our immunity. And another elements, that is selenium, is also very important. And copper and iron also plays very important role to improve our immunity. So another things which are we call phytochemicals, which is found in the vegetables and fruits. So they also play very important role to improve our immune functions, to boost our immunity. These are carotenoids, flavonoids, polyphenols, allium compounds. So these compounds act as a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory actions. So there are also anti-cancer and antioxidant effects. So phytochemicals are also important to boost our immunity or to improve our immune functions. And so those are the nutrients which are which plays very specific role to improve our immune functions. And what are the foods? Because we are more concerned about the foods, which is very important. And there are many foods available, but only we cannot choose all the foods which contains what amount of zinc or copper or iron or something like that. But we have to make it very easy and practical. So I want to simplify this. What are the foods for immunity? So first principle, we should know that while having food in our plate, 50% of the plate should contain the green vegetables, and then fruits, and only 50% should contain the protein source and the cereals, the carbohydrate source. So that is the most important things, because the many of the Indian or Nepali people eat a very less amount of vegetables, and they eat more like rice or chapati or something like that, cereals. So to improve our immunity, the most important food is vegetable source, and then fruits. So, but here my concern is about the source of vegetable and fruits, whether they are natural or they are organic or not, because most of the vegetable and fruits we get in market is loaded with toxins, that is the pesticides. So that is a great threat to our health and immune function also. So we need to choose the vegetables which are organic, which are seasonal, and varieties of vegetables. If we eat like that, we can get almost all of the component of the food, means of nutrient, which is important for our general health as well as the immune function. So we need to choose the seasonal, organic, and varieties and locally produced, locally grown vegetables. That is very important things. And next thing is a protein source. So while choosing the protein source, we can choose many things contain means proteins. But the best source of proteins is sprout, beans, lentils, milk product, fish and seafoods, egg, flesh, meat. But while choosing these things, so we should know that the other things, so only we are getting protein and any other harmful things we are getting from that, that means that is not a good choice. Suppose, for example, if we take the meat, it contains very good amount of proteins and minerals also, but it lacks the fibers and phytochemicals. So it may not be the good choice, and it may lead to the high in saturated fat, like cholesterol. So it is not good for health. So while choosing the source, we should choose that is which is safe and which contains almost all of the nutrients. So for choosing the protein source, that is plant source is better, and from animal source we can choose the milk and milk product. And if we go for non-veg, that is the fish and seafoods are better choice. So we should choose like that. So another thing is the carbohydrate. When we choose the carbohydrate, we should not take in the refined form like sugar, added sugar, or refined form. So we should choose from the natural and complex form of carbohydrate, which we can get the grains, that is whole grains, not refined, not like brown rice instead of white rice. So that is the complex and natural form is the most important source of carbohydrate. And when we choose the fat, so fat is the great, there is evidence shows that when we take increased amount of fat, that will reduce the immune functions, and especially the trans fat and saturated fat. So we have to reduce the intake of fat, and natural vegetable source which contains the omega-3 fatty acids, especially the flaxseed oil, mustard oil, sesame oil, olive oil, coconut oil are very good for our immunity and general health also. So and when we talk about the spices, there are very important spices. All spices are good for our immune system, especially the turmeric, gingers, and garlic are very important spices, which we all are available in our kitchens. We use every day. So these are very important immuno enhancer. So while talking about drinks, so we can take green tea, herbal tea, cinnamon tea, lemongrass tea, or tulsi tea. These are the drinks which boost our immunity. So this type, because we cannot choose availability of the food stuffs. So while choosing, we should know that which are available, which are very fresh, organic, and safe, and which gives varieties of nutrients. So we have to choose these things, and when we take all of these food stuffs, then we can surely improve our immunity. This is not actually immunity improving, it is as a whole health improving diet, because anything which improves our overall health will improve, definitely will improve our immunity also. So lastly, I am coming to the fasting and immunity. That is a very debatable topics, and some people are saying that fasting is very good for immunity, and it should be practiced. And some people are telling it is not good for our immunity because the poor nutrition or deficiency of nutrition will lead to the poor immunity. So fastings, according to naturopathy principle, this is the eliminative diet. And when our body is loaded with toxins, then how we can imagine our good immunity? So definitely for immunity, fasting is very helpful. But the question comes here, when we have infection, either that is viral or bacterial, in that times we should do fasting or not. Either it is beneficial or harmful, that we should see that aspect. But as general, to improve the immunity, fasting is very important tool, very effective tool. And fasting has mainly 4 functions. Like fasting is the physiological rest. During fasting, our body systems, our internal organs get rest, especially the digestive system, because digestive system's health is very important for immune function, because most of the immune cells are present, lymphocyte cells are present into the gut. So physiological rest means during fasting, the digestive system gets rest, and it will be renewed and it will be cleaned. So that is the most important thing. Another things of effect of fasting is detoxification. So fasting will detoxify our whole systems, whole body, whole organs. That is another things, especially the toxins which are deposited into the fat adipose tissue will be removed from the systems. So that is the another effect of fasting. And another thing is autophagy activation during fasting. When there is a calorie restriction, restricted diet or fasting, there is a autophagy activation is activated. So autophagy means that when there is a energy crisis inside the body, the cell, the healthy cells, eats the weaker cells or infected cells or precancerous cell or weak cells. So that is called that is mechanism is called the autophagy. So fasting, during fasting, there is energy crisis, and all the healthy cells will eat the unhealthy or precancerous or infected cells. Or so this is the mechanism which we call autophagy, and so that is activated, and that removes all the weaker or infected cells. And fourth effect of the fasting is immune response. That is the during fasting, the immune systems will be reset, because when there is the altered, like autoimmune disease, there is the abnormal immune response in the body. So fasting will reset the immune response. Fasting is very helpful to improve our immunity, in my view, and some researches are available, some evidence are available about the fasting and immunity. So most of the research shows that during fasting, the WBC count does not decrease significantly, because there is no decrease in WBC count. And the natural killer cells activity has increased during the fasting, and total CD2 and CD3 cells were essentially unchanged during fasting. So it means the cell-mediated immunity is not impaired during fasting. So on the other hand, the total CD4, especially CD4 count, has decreased during fasting. But the CD8 count has not decreased significantly. So it means only CD4 count is decreased during the fasting, but all the others, other immune cell activity has shown to increase. So there is no detectable signs in plasma condition of any cytokines or soluble interleukin-2 receptor occurred during the fasting. So this means that only CD4 counts is decreased. But the thing is that when this fasting, most of the fasting is done in, the research has been done in animal model. During that time, the decrease in CD4 count is correlated with the cortisol level, because there is the increased level of cortisol into the plasma. That means during fasting, the subject took it as a stress. So stress hormone, the cortisol has increased. So due to the cortisol, the CD4 count has decreased. So, but in our naturopathy perspective of fasting, is in therapeutic fasting, we should not don't take it as a stress, because during fasting we'll be doing all other practices like naturopathic treatment, yoga practices. So we do not take as a stressor. So during that time, there is chances of not increasing cortisol, and that means the CD4 level count will also will not decrease during the fasting. So this means, and the research shows that after refeeding, there is normalization of all the immune cells into the blood. So it means that during fasting only the CD4 count has decreased. After refeeding, everything is normal. That means we may not have to do fasting during viral infection, but we can do, as already our senior told that we can do in during bacterial infection. But as a whole, if we want to improve our immunity, so if we do fasting, then we do proper diet, like that is what we call constructive diet in naturopathy, then it will definitely increase our immune function. So I think fasting is, in my view, fasting is a very good to improve our immunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Janak. Actually, there is a question which has come. Can you suggest the commonest hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you suggest some common type of fasting which can be safely practiced by everyone? Because there are a lot of people who are interested in understanding a detox regimen, because people have a lot of time. They are sitting at home and they can follow some healthy practices utilizing this time. So what is safe? What is usually safe as a fasting method for everyone, which can be, and what is the duration of that fasting, and what is the method of that fasting?
That will be definitely the intermittent
Try
fasting.
that thing which is not something which has to be taken from a doctor to a patient, but something which can be generally practiced by everyone.
That definitely will be the intermittent fasting, with around 24-hour to 48-hour fastings will be safe for everyone. They can practice at home with lemon juice will be the best type of fasting. So intermittent fastings, that is 24-hour to 48-hour only. That will be safe during this time for everyone.
Okay, and there is a very important discussion. I think it's very interesting for all the panelists also, if you'd like to venture in. But I would like to present this view before all the audience from the entire yoga and naturopathy community. And that came because Dr. Janak had an important slide in the beginning, which classified the diets as sattvic, rajasic, tamasic diets, and then eliminating, cleansing, that naturopathic classification of diet.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the nutritional and the nutrient components of the diet. So there are three important understandings which we brought in together through his discussion. And this is very, very interesting. Like, there was a question that fermented food, which you were talking of later in the slides, that comes in the tamasic diet. So these kind of confusions, I think this is very relevant for all of the audience to understand that naturopathy comes from a very traditional medicine background, where there are a lot of concepts and understandings which are taken from the ancient books, or the ancient understandings. And there is a lot of modern discoveries, modern science additions, which are also continuously going on. As a yoga and naturopathic physician, we have a responsibility to respond to what are the modern advances, what are the correct and the contextual scientific understanding of any condition or a subject. And in that context, it's very, very important to understand that we value the scientific understanding much more than what is traditionally understood. And this is across the world. Everywhere we value the science a lot. So we should go by what is our current biochemical, nutritional understanding of the food. And that is something which should be promoted. That should be, because that is something which can be applied clinically very well. Whereas the traditional principles are the general principles which can be applied generally to the population, a larger part of population in regular lifestyles. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Janak, to this particular thing, or any other panelist would like to venture into this?
No, definitely we have to update with modern scientific evidence, and we should not neglect our basic principle of naturopathy also, because they are also equally relevant in this situation also, and we cannot neglect, I think so. But we have to correlate with our ancient naturopathy principle with modern scientific evidence.
Thank you, Dr. Janak. Dr. Abhay, do you have anything to add to that?
Hello. Hello, I think I was on mute. The fermented food query, what just now you put forward, again, it is evidence-based. See, naturopathy and yoga, what we are bringing into what you call the therapeutic aspect, or I mean, into the clinical field, again, it is all evidence-based. Now, the recent evidence is showing that these fermented foods are good. So that definitely, see, we cannot stick on to the same principles which were told thousands of years back. There may be some evidences which bring in, like for example, the whole medical world has said that fatty foods and such things are not good for the heart or something like that. But now there is a new trend where they are saying, no, you have to take some fats also, which are good fats for the health of the individual. So that is because of the recent evidence what we have got. So if we have good evidence on these fermented food, then definitely we can adopt them, which see, the principles alone are not the what you call most important thing. What is good for the public, what is good for the health of the individual is also to be taken care of.
Also, I think it's important to understand that, in traditional cultures around the world, fermented food is a known thing.
Yes.
And fermented food is something which should be taken as a natural principle, as a naturopathic principle, because it is found in almost all the cultures around the world. So let us
add a little bit on this.
Yeah, please come.
Foods.
Your voice, you are not audible at all.
Now, am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The fermented foods, fermented food doesn't mean decayed food. There is a scientific principle on fermentation. We are inviting naturally occurring lactobacilli.
Dr. Sunil, irrespective of decay or not, what is the principle is does it not come under what is called as tamasic food? So
no, it doesn't.
Hold on for a second. I'll give you another important view in that like, onion or garlic, for example, can come under tamasic food. So the idea behind this discussion which we have brought in is that it's not that principle, but it is also the understanding, the current scientific understanding of these diet and nutritional principles and these nutrients, which are also important to incorporate into our understanding, especially when we are a science-based system. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, decayed tamasic is like putrefactive. Okay, putrefaction process is called tamas. It goes into tamas because that increases more tamasic energy into your body. That's called putrefaction. Here, fermentation is completely different process. Okay, so these are opposites. Okay, one is putrefactive tamasic. This can be sattvic, and there is nothing called sattvic, tamasic, and rajasic, because these three things we need to compare with your own nature, with your prakriti, with your body, right? Something that is rajasic for one person can be sattvic for another person. We need to take account of that as well. Is that clear, or I need to explain more, because I don't want to take more time? Let me give you a perfect example. Okay, so let's see, meat is a rajasic food. Okay, we all know But a person, a laborer who has to dig for the whole day, the meat in a certain amount works as a sattvic food. Okay.
May I add on to this one, Rajesh? May I add on to this?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
See, the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are states of mind, the Trigunas. Okay. So this is just talking about the states of mind and how food influences these states of mind. So it may not be necessary that tamas is something which is very bad. Required to have all these three states of mind throughout the day in and day out, because if you don't have the tamasic state of mind, you can't go to sleep. I'll give you a simple analogy for this. Early morning, we talk about Brahmi Muhurta, 4 to 6 a.m. We are having too much of drive inside us. We are having more of Rajasic Guna inside us because of the increase in the level of cortisol and other hormones. Okay? As evening progresses, as the day progresses, this cortisol hormone comes down, it's a downward slope. Okay, and by evening, you have more of tamasic tendencies where you want to go to sleep. Okay, so this is a interplay of your mental state, tamas, rajas, and sattva, which is happening cyclically throughout the day. Okay, in some people's tamasic mentality will be more dominant. There'll be more of lethargic people, individuals who are not interested to do the work, feel always tired, and all sorts of things. In some people who are very, very hyperactive, always want to do this and that, they're Rajasic kind of thing. And some people who are very, very calm, sattvic kind of thing. So food may really influence their mental state also, is what I'm told. Like for example, if you take more of fermented food, what happens, it takes longer time to digest. Because it takes long time to digest, the amount of circulation to the brain, the glucose to the brain is also delayed, because they are low glycemic index foods. As you take more of carbohydrate rich foods, they are more high glycemic index foods, you have a more rush of glucose to the brain, your Rajasic tendency. Okay, so this all just helps in changing the mood states of the mind, and nothing is bad actually. All these three things have to be there. It should be in a balanced form, and just like the food can also is very important to also elevate your mood. Okay, so the taste of the food, the satiety, the appetite, everything is also a very important aspect to change your mood. So all these three things are important, and even fermentation or non-fermentation doesn't matter at all. It just matters on what sort of mood it is there. How does the food influence your mood at that particular point of time?
Thank you, Dr. Rao. There is one very important question which has come from the audience, and one that is to be put to Dr. Janak. What is good, balanced diet or supplements? Specifically, when you are on quarantine, you are living, the countries are under lockdown. Many things are not available. So how do you suggest that you meet the requirements of all the nutrients in your daily routine?
So I prefer balanced diet, which is from the natural source, because I don't prefer any supplement, because sometimes we may need the supplements in specific conditions. But generally, we don't need any supplement when we are taking the varieties of foods which are available in our local market, because we don't get any one or two types of variety, but we get several varieties of foods. So if they are available, so we don't need to take any food supplement, because already we are taking rice or cereals and lentils, beans, food combination, what we eat, rice, dal, and vegetables, mixed vegetables. So that is already a complete food, and most of the nutrient we get from that. So I think balanced diet is the most important and most healthy, because that will provide all of the essential nutrients. But when we take about the supplements, that may lead another, because we cannot take all the supplements at once, and sometimes that may be overnutrition, and we are supplying one nutrient, then another may be deficient. So I think wholesome food is the best, which is natural, which is seasonal, and which is locally available, is the best things what we can do, I think.
One common thing which is being promoted by a lot of medical associations in America is that you eat 6 servings of fruits and vegetables every day of minimum 4 colors. Do you agree to this particular view?
Yeah, definitely I agree with that. But most of the time, the American people, they use the refined food. So that is why they are lacking many essential nutrients, especially the mineral and vitamin, and they take lots of nutritional supplements. But I think in our culture, that is not that much required, because we are already taking lots of vegetable, fruits, and combination of cereals and lentils or protein sources. So for them, that is accepted, because they need sometimes they need nutritional supplement and fruits also. But in our context, I think our diet already it is very balanced, good, and with all of its spices, which are also important for boosting our immunity or maintaining our
The concern is the urban life is consuming a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugar,
yeah.
and that is creating a lot of problems for the populations around the world. Even in countries like India, we have a large diabetic population. So it's important that we promote things which are rich in fiber, rich in vitamins, minerals, and less in sugars. And I think this particular principle actually works on even our population.
Yeah, in urban populations, because so many people are using now that also. But we have to miss the fruits and vegetable or variety of foods are available in our market easily. Then why we should go for a nutrition supplement?
No. We are talking about. I
Yeah,
spoke about the 4 different colors, 6 servings of fruits and vegetables, not particularly about the nutrients, nutraceuticals.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So I think we have covered more or less majority of the questions. Do you see any question which remains unanswered, or you would like to take it up?
There are some questions that remains unanswered, like food is a building material and
And you have to be audible, sir.
Now is it audible now?
Yeah.
How it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So there are a few questions that needs to be answered still, like what we study as naturopathy is not a complete science yet. The science itself is not complete, so it keeps on we need to keep redefining, and our science we need to redefine because it's more of ancient rather than modern, so we need to redefine it time and time again. I think the country India itself needs to make a refining body, a huge body, and keep on refining. Like food is the building material, doesn't increase vitality. This is outdated. We need to forget about this. Okay. Uh, so that was one answer. Another answer was what type of food is good for arthritic and hyperacidic person. So arthritis, everything depends upon person to person. The main cause of arthritis could be overuse because of his overweight, or maybe his diet. So the best diet for arthritis could be more calcium rich food, more uh, food and supplements that help the bone and cartilage to regenerate, like Boswellia serrata is the only biochemical or any chemical found all over the world that can regenerate cartilage, what we call salaki in Sanskrit. Okay, and the diet should be alkaline, that's for sure. Lots of whole grains, legumes, lots of vegetables, salads, greens. That's the food for arthritis. But we need to take individual account, because everybody is different. One diet that is suitable for me might not be suitable for another person. A doctor needs to take care of that account as well. Then
There was one question which actually came because of your presentation, and that is, I think, one Dr. Milind Parasar from Odisha. He has questioned that what is the alternative to the sea food or the
Green
sea
foods.
algae which
Yes, sea
you have
algae.
mentioned.
Nowadays, seaweeds are available in supermarkets as well. We need to search
But
all
I
fermented foods and
I think
green foods are available in the
you or Dr.
supermarket.
You or Dr. Janak mentioned about some greens, right?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. So why don't you
Okay.
mention about that? Like those are also very important aspects which can be promoted.
Yeah, absolutely. If you really want seafood, seaweeds, then supermarkets can be the solution for us. In supermarkets, both of these are available, but also there are alternatives. That's why I kept green foods in is wheatgrass, and another is seaweeds. Okay. Nowadays we are also getting capsules of seaweeds like spirulina, nori, hizki. We get capsules and wraps and vegetables either in supplements or in supermarkets as well.
And we
So
got
there
the
can
name
be
for your
alternative will be like the naturally the vegetable. Somebody was telling jalkumbi. It's not jalkumbi. There is a it's a vegetable that's found in ponds and watercress. I was talking about watercress could be a good alternative to that. And basically, to tell you to the point, there is no alternative to green algae that are found or seaweeds that are found below the ocean, because the composition of the land and the composition of the plant itself is completely different. They are high in proteins, they are high in iodine. That is completely different than other vegetable that we get in our market. So for seaweeds, we cannot find much alternatives. If there is no switch on to this, but if it's possible, buy from supplements or the supermarket. That's the only alternative we have got.
Dr. Sunil, just an addition to the point, food is a building material and does not increase your vitality. It may not be totally, outdated or something like that. See, what has happened is overeating is now a trend itself. Overeating, unnecessary eating. People think that the more we eat, the more healthier we become. And it is a common trend also. If you see a small child, the mothers would run behind them to feed them. That khana khao, otherwise you will be like weak. Khana khao, otherwise you will fall ill. You won't grow and all that. So that is definitely a um, uh, not needed thing. The right amount of food to be taken is also very important. A moderate amount of food is to be taken. Healthy diet. So food is definitely a building material, but also it can help in what you call. Too much eating should be avoided. That's what I was wanted
Absolutely.
to. Yeah.
So we are very close to the end of the session. I think if there is anything anybody would like to venture into.
I would like to tell something here.
Sure.
In the whole world, more people die after eating more rather than hungry people.
Definitely, sir.
So the people eat more and die more and fall into the sickness because they don't know how much actually they should eat. So I think we should have a session on the quantity of food too. The quality of food is important, but at the same time, the quantity of food is also very important. How much we should eat. Generally, one full meal a day is sufficient. Like from past 1.5 months, I'm trying one meal in a day. And surprisingly, all my headache problems, all my migraine problems, all whatever I was having is all vanished. So the problems in our body are more food generated or our habit generated or our lifestyle generated rather than actual problems in the body. So I feel that when we talk about the quality of the food or the supplements or the variety of the food, we should have a discussion on the quantity of food also. How much a healthy person or working person or office goers or students, what they should eat. Am I correct? You all are doctors. I'm not doctor. I have a very least knowledge. I have no authority of speaking on naturopathy or yoga or Ayurveda, but I do have a common sense, and this is what comes out.
Yeah, you're very right on that. That more people are dying overeating than eating less. You're
Yes.
very right on that. So everybody needs
Prem
to find out
Anveshi
their
ji.
true nature and do that.
Yeah.
Prem Anveshi ji, you are absolutely right on what you said, that more people are dying eating more rather than not eating, starving. But definitely in this what you call situation where we are having very low physical activity and such a situation right now, one meal a day would make very much sense. But when people are really working hard and maybe very active throughout the day, a divided meal, small meal concept would be more suitable for this
Yeah, it is.
modern age.
It is true because one of my friend, when he found that only one meal, he was just following me. He found that one meal a day is healthy, so he started. But that one meal itself, what the quantity was so much that what we eat in 3 times.
So
Yes.
I'd like to add on that. There have been thousands of research
Yeah.
on intermittent fasting, mainly Ramadan.
Yes.
Now the period is going on, Ramadan kind of intermittent fasting, and the results are fantastic.
No,
From
I'm
cancer
I'm
to
fasting.
viral
I'm
infections,
fasting.
it is found effective.
I'm
But-
in Ramadan fasting now.
But you should not be hogging around like other people do. So eat less. Intermittent fasting is one of the best things the fasting has to give to the modern society, which has
Yes.
to rush to the
Yes.
working, and the mundane affairs has to balance mundane affairs and still do fast.
See, the
But
biggest
be
problem.
balanced on that.
The biggest problem here is when the sugar levels are down in our brain, and brain gives you a signal like you want to have a food, and you start eating, and the speed of eating is so high that before it reaches to your gut and goes into the brain, you are eating, and suddenly after eating you realize that I've eaten too much. So the process of eating is also very important. It is not quantity, it is not quality, it is a process also which is very important. With how we eat, we have to give a time to the food to be chewed, to go into your digestive system and reach up to there and reach up to your brain, where brain starts giving you signal. And you can try yourself. When you are hungry, you just take a small portion, just eat, thinking this is only available, and suddenly after 10 minutes later you will find that you are not hungry, because the brain has got those signals of the sugars now. But what happened when we are eating? When we are eating at that particular time, the hunger which is available keeps on telling to the brain like, keep on eating, keep on eating, keep on eating, keep eating, keep eating. And what happens? The quantity becomes much. So now what I feel is the process of eating, quantity of eating, and the quality of eating. These 3 things are very important. And I think we should take, sometimes we should talk about this too.
I think with this
Yeah, another
wonderful
session, maybe another session where we discuss about what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that could be our next session itself,
Yeah.
and let's plan it and rally the experts around this subject.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for joining, including the audience. It has been a wonderful interactive audience. I think we have received hundreds of questions so far, and the live chats. I'm sorry that we have not closely followed up all the live pages where also the questions may have come. We will try to post the complete recording of this webinar through our social media channels. So those people who have not been able to attend this will also be able to join and look at what discussions went on for last 3 hours. So thank you, everyone. And I think it was very wonderful talking to all of you. I think I have never spoken to Dr. Janak in last 15 years so much than we have spoken today. Dr. Sunil, Dr. Abhay, we hardly talk to each other on these subjects. We talk on every other subject. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to join together. And thank you, Dr. Prem Anvesi ji, to actually host us and to invite us onto this platform. I think we will do some nice thing together through these webinars, as well as the future activities which you plan for Ayush sector. So thank you, everyone. I think let's say goodbye to each other.
Okay.
Thank you,
Have a nice
Dr.
day.
Rajesh, also for what you call coordinating with among all the panelists and giving your inputs also.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.